Alrighty. Alrighty, happy Sunday, friends. Power 5 meteorologist Alan Osip here in the Weather Center. And a little bit of a surprise for some. I was talking about the potential for some of the lake effect showers going on into this afternoon, but we're getting them a couple of hours sooner. And we've even seen something known as graupel across much of the area. Pretty crazy stuff that we're seeing out there. And I'm getting a couple of your comments out there about some of that lake effect snow that some of you are seeing in interior Ashtabula County. So let's get straight into the radar because it is definitely coming on down. Let me take a little bit of a closer look with you. And wherever you see some of these yellow pockets, that's where some of the rain is becoming more like graupel and even snow. So a little bit right just south of Chardon. We know Chardon loves to see that lake effect snow. This is not fully snow, but we are seeing some reports of some big chunky snowflakes. We're also seeing some graupel moving on in, which is like soft hail. It almost looks like Dippin' Dots out there. And wherever you may be across Northeast Ohio tuning on in, if you're seeing out your window some of that graupel that looks like Dippin' Dots, if you're seeing snow, if you're seeing rain, let me know. Because Power 5 radar says it's rain when it's not really all rain. In fact, more than half of this is that frozen variety, whether it's graupel or sleet, or in some cases, even some of those chunky snowflakes that are falling on down. So that's that northwest wind. I was telling you about it being super gusty. Those gusts about 20, 30, in some cases 35 miles an hour. That'll do it. That'll bring in that lake effect snow across the area. So let's take a little bit of a closer look here at what we're dealing with. This is graupel. You're like, wait, I've never heard of graupel before. I did explain it a couple of weekends ago with Tessa on Good Morning Cleveland, but I want to show you this because this is a pretty cool explanation that I was able to help create. So watch this. Typically, when we get any sort of particles of water, because clouds are made up of water or, well, ice water, this little fella right over here is in an area that's above freezing. But the higher up you go into the sky, you'd say it's going to be colder, it's going to be below freezing. And yeah, those liquid cloud droplets lifted up into an area of the cloud that is below freezing, you'd think, okay, it's going to freeze, it's going to become ice. Not quite. There's a process called supercooling. That supercooling process makes the temperature go below freezing, but the particle itself stays liquid. And then you got the ice around it that's sticking onto the liquid. So on the inside, it is still water, but on the outside, it's ice. And that's how you get that kind of soft hail, that Dippin' Dots look to it. That's graupel. And when you get so much ice to form on top of that liquid, it becomes heavy and it bounces to the ground. You can see that bouncing going on right there. That's the Dippin' Dots. That's that soft hail kind of look that we're seeing across a lot of the area on the east side right now. There it is. That's what it looks like to a lot of us here across Northeast Ohio. So if you have any sort of comments, let me know. And I'll let you, I'll make sure to share along wherever you may be to see some of that graupel falling on down right now. Across downtown Cleveland, though, I'm not seeing a lot right now. I'm seeing a lot of fans, though, getting ready out for the Muni Lot. They had a quick burst of graupel about 20 minutes ago, but that has since passed. And look at that. The parking lot is full, getting ready for Ravens, Browns. I think it's going to be a pretty close scoring game. I think we really do have a chance here today. But I want to quickly get back into the radar because you could see here over downtown Cleveland, over the stadium, we had that graupel roll on through right around 12:10. We actually have a little bit more on the west side now. Yeah, wow, west side is even getting a little bit involved with some of that graupel and light rain. You can see it there through Lakewood into Edgewater, Gordon Square as well. I'm going to stop this radar for, this is right now. You could literally see it on the shoreway. That orange right there, it's not necessarily super heavy because when you think of orange, you think of, okay, this is heavy rain. This is actually moderate graupel. Something known as bright banding, when the precipitation starts to freeze up because the radar thinks it's rain, but it's not actually rain. And those particles, those graupel or snowflakes, they're much bigger. So that's why the radar thinks it's really heavy, but it's really not. So right there on the shoreway, when it becomes Clifton, you could see some pretty big sized graupel falling there right now. and that's going to move along onto 90 in the next few minutes. It's going to skip on over to 176 into Cuyahoga Heights and Willow in the next 20 or so minutes. That's just the nature of lake effect. It's nothing too crazy, but honestly, it's a little bit of a Sunday surprise for some of us. I've been telling you this morning about the potential for the lake effect. It's just gotten here a couple of hours early. And more of us, not just Lake Ashtabula and Geauga counties, we're seeing it into Portage County. We're seeing it into much of Cuyahoga County, and even a little bit here off to the west toward Akron. I think we might even see a little bit there, but a little bit closer look actually into Portage County and in Manaway, into Hiram, into Garrettsville. We're seeing steady light rain that is transitioning over to a little bit of graupel, some wet snow. So even though the radar says rain, I just wanted to let you know, even though our Power 5 radar says rain, it's not just rain. So I just wanted to prepare you a little bit for that. That's what it looks like there. So I want to give you another update here out toward Ashtabula County, where there is a little bit of a break now versus even just a few minutes ago. I'm going to rewind the clock here. You could see just these pockets of graupel that are falling on down. It's not one defined band, unlike what we're likely going to see later on this evening. You see this blue purplish color? That's actually a winter weather advisory across much of Pennsylvania. They could get a half a foot of this lake effect snow. So we are lucking out big time with this, but a little bit of a surprise. You know, you might want to grab the umbrellas for any afternoon plans. Cleveland points east. So east side, you're going to have these isolated on again, off again lake effect, graupel showers, mix, sleet, snow. Just want to let you know here at 12:44 on our Sunday afternoon. I know it's a couple hours before the Browns game. So for tailgaters, listen, even right now, this is narrowly missing you. The stadium's right over here. I mean, there might be a little bit of light stuff there, but most of it is actually missing you off to the west. You can see it right there in the last few minutes. There it is. There's that band right there. It's not organized, but it's, you know, it's there. I also wanted to show you actually, in fact, little video here. Let me actually just try to pull it up here. Let's see. Am I able to just drag it along? Let's see. Will it allow me to? Let's see. No, not quite. I'm going to try to actually push it over to this side. There we go. Take a look at this. This is actually from our Caitlin Hunt. Watch this. There's that Dippin' Dots. You see it there on the off-ramp from 271. It looks kind of crazy there, right? With that graupel. So it will make conditions a little bit on the slick side. Nothing crazy. This is not snow that we're talking about. But again, this like soft hail, you're going to hear the pinging off your car from the front, from the bumper. You're going to hear it. If you're at home, you're hearing like it almost sounds like crackling. That's the graupel that will be moving in and out over the next few hours. And then eventually, I think once the sun goes down, and this is for Ashtabula County, it'll mainly become just plain old snow. So actually, let's take a look at the Futurecast here with me real quick. Futurecast honestly hasn't done a great job with this. That's because it's really hard to pick up on lake effect snow early on in the season. But watch this. There it is. And this is at 3 o'clock. It's still there. It's not a lot on Futurecast, but I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. And it shows rain, but we've seen it's not just rain. It's graupel and it's light snow. But also look at this band right there across Erie, Pennsylvania. Look at that band. That will take over later on tonight. But before it does, Ashtabula County, especially interior Ashtabula County, I think we could even get a coating of snow later on this evening. That slides on through. One little old band might still be left over around 7:30 or 8 o'clock, but then we're done. By 9 or 10 p.m., we're done with the lake effect. The lake effect is going to be a problem for Erie, Pennsylvania, up toward upstate New York. You could see that band cranking, and that's where they can get 6-7 inches of snow easily. So honestly, here's the thing. We just have the isolated lake effect for areas Cleveland points east. For the rest of us, it's windy. And I do think that's also a very important thing to talk about because those winds, they have been howling. Look at the gusts right now. Yeah. 30 to 40 miles an hour. And that is pretty strong wind. You've probably been hearing it howling since last night. That's making it feel extra cold. So even though it's 41 degrees right now, I heard John Doss on the pregame show, on the countdown show, talk about how it feels like 24 degrees outside. Well, not quite 24, but it feels like near freezing, and it'll be that way for the Browns game. So if you are going to Browns Stadium, let me pull up that forecast for you real quick while you are here. Bear with me just one moment while I grab it for you. Where is it? Listen, with winter coming up, I have lots of these winter graphics ready to show you on Good Morning Cleveland, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. But here we go. So this is the Muni lot. Again, nice and packed. And right now there is a break from that grapple and sleet and snow and all that stuff. But kickoff temperature, yeah, I'm going to step out of frame here for you. 40 degrees. That's it. And with those 25, 35 mile an hour gusts, it will feel like the 30s. So for the second half of the game, 37. And if this game somehow goes into OT, more like 35. And with that wind, it will feel like 25. So make sure you are bundled on up for that. And you're also bundled on up for the feels like temperatures, because into tomorrow morning, it's going to be the same thing. So let me run really quick with you for the wind. Again, watch it between 20 and 30 miles an hour all the way through tonight, right? That's going to be the case until tomorrow morning for the lakefront. A little bit calmer inland where it's going to be more like 15, 20 mile an hour winds. And then there's your wind chill. I like to call this November out there. Yeah, we're talking upper teens. Upper teens, Mansfield, Ashland at 18, Worcester at 19, and middle 20s along the lakefront. So all in all, if you consider if this was middle of the winter, you'd be like, typical winter day. But for November 16th, coming off a day yesterday that was 65 degrees, this is a bit of a shock to the system. So there you go with that. One more quick look at our Power 5 radar before I let y'all go. Yeah, it's still happening. We have this isolated to more like scattered lake effect grapple showers. You could see it across the area over the last couple of hours. First moving into Geauga Lake counties, a little bit into Portage, a little bit into Ashtabula, and we've actually had this move a little bit to the west across parts of Cuyahoga County as well. So basically, if you're 77 points east, just be on the lookout. Road conditions might get a little tricky at times, but nothing too crazy. Just want to let you know the forecasts. We got that little bit of lake effect just a little bit earlier. We know how it is across our area this time of year. So there you go. All righty. That's going to be it for me here. Any questions, feel free to let us know on social media. You can find me at Allen Weather TV on Facebook. So yeah, Phil Sakel will be out here later on this afternoon and evening, and we'll be updating you on that cold and a potential for a little bit of snow on Tuesday and some more thunderstorms possible by Friday.